Hello my loves, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Thank you for joining me today as I will be talking about how to make better choices in order to live a quality life where regrets are not part of it. How can you contribute to a fulfilling future, and how to make improvements in the situations that you are dealing with at the moment, no matter how early or late in life you find yourself. Just know that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. I will be talking about how regrets and living a life filled with regrets affect us. How can we live our best life, and how living a fulfilling life or not is a reflection of the choices we make. I will discuss in length about the two most important aspects that contribute to building up regrets: money and relationships. Choices we've made regarding money and relationships are the two most regrettable aspects of our lives. Am I right? So, how can we have a great relationship with money and also with the people that we care about? Before I explain that, I want to make a point. In life, there are things that are out of our control and things that are handleable, in our control. In my opinion, these two, money and relationships, are both handleable to a certain degree, and if you manage to handle them correctly, you are set for a stress-free, regret-free life. Some regrets will always exist, just to be clear, but I believe there is a way to maximize good outcomes. Use your common sense to analyze your particular situation and apply the necessary changes when needed. Every situation is, of course, different. I will explain to you in a minute what exactly I'm referring to. But first, on this channel, I like to talk about self-improvement topics in all areas of life. If you want to see more of my content, where I post educational videos targeting real-life situations, please join the channel. Also, if you'd like to see more of my goofy side, please check out my short videos where I post entertainment content. You'll get a glimpse of my personality, even though I'm extremely serious in my pursuit to help people and contribute to the community in any way I can. I really don't like to take life too seriously. I like having fun. I like to find humor in everything around me. I love the fact that on this channel I can truly be myself. And in being so, I can hopefully help you, bring value to you, and entertain you at the same time. Also, please follow me on my other social media channels. Links are in the description below. Now, enough about that, and let's go back to choices and regrets. Right now, you may be sinking under the weight of guilt and regret. To some extent, even though you struggle long and hard when you make decisions, and even though you always strive to do the right thing in the moment, you very often wind up questioning yourself and punishing yourself when something doesn't turn out right. Regrets are actually that punishment. Regrets weigh a lot. When it comes to regrets and how we feel about it, I think a lot of us can look back at our life so far and say, I wish I could have made a different choice with this or that, right? I know I am. But the reality is that we have to embrace the fact that we are who we are. We are flawed. We were brought up in a certain way. We have the mentality that we have. We are helpless, but to be who we are, with our flaws and addictions, and we were powerless, but to make the decisions that we made and continue to make. Let's be clear, nobody in this world is perfect. Nobody makes all the right choices. But can we actually learn and better educate ourselves to make better choices, and as a result have a wonderful and fulfilling life? Or is it a matter of destiny and the lessons that we have to learn in this lifetime? Like some spiritual people will say, your destiny has indeed a major influence, of course, but we are more than capable of making our own destiny, if you know what I mean. I remember a statement by Einstein who said, energy is physics. What you send out comes back to you. Meaning, what you believe in or think is going to happen, the energy goes out in the universe where it manifests. It takes shape, And that manifestation returns to you like a boomerang effect. Even if Einstein was a genius, we don't know if that's true because it can be proven. However, we have the choice to make a conscious decision to believe it. And if we indeed believe it, that means that we are able to manifest whatever we want and therefore make our own destiny. Wow, it could be true. I know I've experienced that in my life many times, not always though, so to me that's controversial. First, what is destiny? Let's clarify that. Personally, I'm a firm believer of astrology and numerology. To me, astrology and numerology, it's a fact. It's something that has existed since the beginning of times. The very first humans were studying it and they were very in tune with it. It's so strange how later, now, we are ignoring its importance. It's something that we are born with. You know the saying is written in the stars? Well, our destiny, our trajectory in life, our personality, our abilities, our moods, our day by day, it's all written in the stars. If you want to understand more about yourself, which I guess you would, learn your astrology and numerology. You will be astonished by how accurate it is, how you can identify yourself in it, and how you will make sense of some cycles or episodes in your life that you couldn't make sense of before. What happens in our life is not good luck or bad luck. It's astrology. Astrology happens naturally, and we either swim with the current or swim against the current, meaning we use the transits in our benefit or in a self-destructive way. It has to do with how the planetary movements affect us, positively or negatively. I'm not going to go into the subject at this moment, I'll leave it for another time, but it is definitely something worth talking about. I've been studying it for the past 2 years and it has changed so much the relationship I have with the most important person in my life, myself, but also made me conscious about why some things were happening. Now, speaking about having the power to make our own destiny, to understand the idea that you can create your own destiny, it's actually something that takes a certain level of intelligence, awareness, perceptiveness, consciousness, deepness, understanding of self, and what matters to you most in this world. Some people just levitate through life. They ignore things. They go with the flow of happenings and deal with whatever comes their way superficially. And other people see things in a deeper way. They have a different level of consciousness. They believe so much in what they want. They understand clearly the signs around them, the energies they put out there in the universe, the deepness of living a meaningful life. Those are the people who have the power to create their own destiny. They're visionaries. They envision clearly what they want. They're believers. They might not have anything now, but they believe they will have exactly what they want in the future. They embrace change because they understand how exciting change is. They constantly learn from their own mistakes, from others. They constantly evolve, improve, and change what doesn't work. They reinvent themselves over and over again. They know themselves well enough to understand their value and never accept less. They aggressively work on their goals. They trust themselves. They don't need anyone's approval or gratification. They're not blamers. They understand that the only ones guilty for their lives, their failures, their choices, it's them. They're not victims. They prefer to be winners and defeat any odds. They're doers in every aspect of their life. How can you be a doer professionally if you're going to neglect your family? Later on, you'll have all you wanted professionally and financially because that's where your energy went, but you'll probably have a dysfunctional relationship with your children or partner because that's where you focus the least. A doer to me is someone who can contribute equally to every aspect that matters to them. That's a doer to me. The moment you know yourself well enough to know what matters to you and focus on feeding and nurturing that, you have the power to make your own destiny. Work on that, and I promise that life will get so much easier. Here are the 3 major aspects I encourage you to work on in order to help build a life without regrets. Just like in construction, imagine these 3 solid pillars. They hold the construction. The construction being your happiness. The first pillar, work on the relationship you have with yourself. Always put yourself first. Not to say be selfish. Putting yourself first is the highest form of respect for yourself. Stop being a people pleaser, a hero, a savior, or a fixer for others. Be a healer, a hero, a savior for yourself first, and then for others. Just like the safety instructions given in the airplane, which say to put your oxygen mask first and then help others. Prioritize your well-being and the relationship you have with yourself. Ask yourself the important questions, not the therapist, not the people around you. You will see when you ask yourself the questions, the answers will always come every single time. For a regret-free life and a happy life, learn to put yourself first. Learn to connect to yourself, to believe in yourself, and to communicate with yourself. You are the most important person in your life, your best friend and therapist. You'll never be happy until you're happy with yourself, because happiness comes from within. You are the core where everything, good or bad, is initiating. Have you noticed that people who are unhappy with themselves, they're rarely ever satisfied with everything around them? More than that, people who are unhappy with themselves tend to focus more on others, compare themselves to others, gossip about others, blame others for their shortcomings, and victimize themselves. You fix your problem starting from the inside out. Just like working out, first you learn the right forms to not hurt yourself, and later you do the exercise by having the correct form. We live in a world with a lot of negative external influence. We look up to people to teach us things, and with all the information that is out there, we get even more frustrated and confused. All that makes us doubt ourselves. You don't need a therapist to fix you. You don't need a motivational speaker to motivate you. You don't need a psychic to tell you how it's going to be. You don't need a partner in order to have a clear direction. You don't need children to have a meaning in life. You need you. You are your best supporter, motivator, healer, advisor, because you know yourself better than anyone. You do, believe me. If you look deep inside, you can come up not with the same conclusions, but with the best conclusions. Your intuition will guide you. Have you noticed that when we don't listen to our intuition, we mess up badly every single time? Intuition is our divine power, our connection to God and the universe. The problem is that nowadays people have forgotten to listen to themselves, to work on themselves. They're so influenced by their environment and brainwashed so much that they forgot to think for themselves. There is too much information out there and too many options. We are easily distracted from what really matters. We anesthetize ourselves with the avalanche of options that exist out there. Options that distract us from connecting to ourselves. For example, you break up with your boyfriend. How do you process the breakup? Do you sit with yourself and give yourself time to heal, make sense of it, understand what you're going through? Or you're running away from yourself. You try to distract yourself any way you can, which means that you start going out more, asking strangers for their opinion, start dating again right away, go on daily shopping sprees. When you anesthetize yourself with external distractions, it works, but only until you are back alone with yourself. Then you are in the same place where you started, so you continue to desperately search for answers. You start therapy, maybe watch love horoscopes every day, etc. Maybe they will say something you want to hear, or maybe they will tell you what to do and what actions to take. Whatever. The point is that if you don't connect to yourself, you won't be able to understand what really happened, the signs you were given, the choices you've made, and how to change some things you think you did wrong for the next relationship. Progress is great, but my gosh, it has a negative side with all their exaggerated titles that serve the purpose of planting false ideas into our heads, confusing us, manipulate us, brainwash us, causes depression and anxiety. Why? Because that sells, unfortunately. Scientists say that people are by nature animals who like to follow. Very rarely they will believe in their own ideas. More often, they will follow someone else's lead. My advice is, in order to be happy, follow your lead and your intuition. So I encourage you to stop for a second and connect to yourself, listen to yourself, and be yourself. Stop copying, stop wanting to be someone else, stop listening left and right, stop looking for answers outside of yourself. Why? Because happiness comes from within. Happiness is in you. Second pillar, work on the relationship you have with your finances. Do you regret financial choices? We all strive for financial freedom, the feeling of having just enough money to be able to live a stress-free life, where we have the freedom to do whatever we want, whenever we want, and with whomever we want. You can very simply make better financial choices by following these rules. First rule, if you're not rich, don't buy expensive cars, luxury goods, clothing, accessories, and unnecessary travel. Limit your traveling. Second rule, stop buying unnecessary stuff. Yes, I am guilty too. My first dream was to make money to buy a Prada bag. The majority of us enjoy material things and we would like to have this or that. However, just know that you are cheating yourself of your financial freedom. First, make money with your money, and with the money that gets generated, that passive income, buy what you want. Buying stuff that sit in your closet, garage, or go down the drain only give you a sense of gratification and the pride of wearing or owning them. Start building your financial freedom early on, as it gets harder when you start having hundreds of responsibilities, a family, kids, etc. However, it's never too late. Make changes today. Let me ask you a question. If you got a windfall of money, let's say an inheritance, insurance settlement, whatever, what would be the first thing you would do with the money? What would be your choice of handling it? Pause this video now and comment below. Some will say, wow, if I got a lot of money, I would buy myself the car I always wanted, or the house of my dreams, or I'll go shopping. And with the remaining cash, I will start a business and invest it. Do you know what's the probability of a new business to succeed? Google that to find out. Most businesses fail because they don't rely on a solid plan. They don't have anything proprietary and they lack quality, value, etc. A business can fail easily. It's highly risky if you don't rely on something solid. Don't start a business just to say that you started a business. That's a bad allocation of the money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars can go down the drain with the blink of an eye. My answer is, I will give the money to a money manager who has a great reputation for a very long time, who will put my money to work in low-risk investments for whatever the return is at the time. Or I will invest in a mutual fund. I will spend money from that return. I will still have the same amount of money that I started with. There is no judgment here, and I'm not discounting your choices whatsoever. But you're saying that you will spend right away a lot of that money before that money even started working for you. What for? For gratification? What makes you believe that you won't continue to spend until there is none left? You wouldn't be the first person who won the lottery or windfalls and ended up broke. Warren Buffett said, if you can't control your emotions, you can't control your money. Brilliant statement. Meaning, if you can't get a hold of your impulse to buy unnecessary stuff, on the impulse to have stuff, your addiction to certain self-destructive behaviors, you'll end up broke over and over again. It doesn't matter how many times you've made money, the result is that you lost it. Very few people are conservative, constant, and control themselves just so their financial trajectory always goes up over time. Like this, right? The majority go through extreme ups and downs their entire life due to their impulsive behavior and greed. Sometimes, if they are really lucky, they may score really big and could be set for life, and sometimes they go bankrupt and never make it back. Good times are not guaranteed. If you got an opportunity, seize the moment and make it grow. Secure yourself in your future. If you happen to get more in the future, great. But what if you never get another opportunity again? Or what if your life circumstances change and you're not able to rebuild? Because you can have a brain that is a money-making machine. But what if your health is not good? Or what if the industry that you are active in doesn't work anymore? Or what if the planets astrologically are against you for years and years? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's the right mantra. So, control yourself, be smart, and start slowly and carefully planting the seeds for a better financial future. When you make money, pay yourself first, put it to good work, in safe investments, and control your emotions when it comes to spending or being controlled by greed. People get greedy and they start buying things they can't afford in the hope that they will continue to make money to pay for it. Or they put their money in hypes, in risky investments, because they're blinded by the big rewards. And get lucky once or twice until they end up bankrupt. High rewards mean also high risks. How educated are you really in the space to take high risks? Even the highly educated don't have a crystal ball that shows them the future and what is beneficial or not. There are plenty of examples of big guys who ended up broke. Contrary to what I did with my first money, Warren Buffett took his first money and put it in the stock market when he was just a teenager. And he continued to do that over and over again. Imagine if he took all the money he made at first and bought a car he liked, and later an expensive suit, and later went traveling, and later he wanted a new watch. The list can go on and on and on. He most probably would have never become the Warren Buffett that he is now. His list of wants would continue to grow, and his money would have always been allocated to check off things from that list. You can continue to postpone your financial freedom, but don't be shocked if you end up in a regrettable situation in the future, a situation you cannot come back from. There is a lot of temptation out there, so learn to control yourself. And don't let that addiction or temptation to be stronger than your desire for financial freedom. It's proven that poor people and rich people are most in control of their spending on unnecessary stuff. Middle class is the target for companies of all kinds because they're most prone to buy unnecessary stuff. Poor people are forced to account for every penny, therefore they're not spending on unnecessary stuff. And rich people knew how to make money by controlling their urge and their impulses and by not spending money in the first place. Therefore, they're very smart and careful about what they spend their money on. They always think business. My personal rule when it comes to finances is to pay myself first. What is left after my personal and business expenses, the profit, I distributed the following way. 60% goes towards real estate investments, like loans or purchases. 15% goes in the stock market or mutual funds, no hypes, but established stocks or industries they're developing, and hold on to those for long term. 15% goes into precious metals like gold coins or jewelry that holds its value or has the potential to go up in value, and 10% in savings. With that 10%, I buy travels, cars, shopping, cosmetic stuff, etc. Only 10%. If you don't have the money, don't spend it. Here is an example. If you want to buy a car for $100,000, Make sure you have $1 million under your mattress or in your savings account. That's why people are in so much debt and financial burden, stress, because they reach for what they can't afford. Apply this rule and you will see that you will live a stress-free life, a life with no regrets when it comes to finances. Third pillar, work on the relationship you have with the people you care about. Very simple. First, identify 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 things that most matter to you. You don't have to classify them in the order of priorities, right? Mines are, for example, my husband, my parents, my brother and his family, my professional endeavors, God, myself, and my well-being. 6. These are the 6 most important things in my life, equally important. What are yours? Once you identify what they are, allocate time to all of them. None should be more of a priority than the other. Trust me, if you want to live a life regret-free, work on what matters to you with the same passion and devotion. You can't feed one aspect of your life and neglect another one. When you stop feeding the other ones, you slowly lose them. They slowly die. Think about it. It's common sense. It's like watering a plant. A professional project needs nurturing, devotion, passion, determination, endurance, perseverance. It doesn't matter how hard it is or how much work you have to put into it. You give your all for the project to be fruitful and successful. Relationships need the same things to be fruitful and successful. Work hard on keeping them, nurturing them, be there for them, give your all, and never give up on the people you love. The same way you would not give up on a passion. Cling onto it. None of these things that matter to you should be taken for granted. None. This is how you live a life without regrets. Like I said in the beginning of this video, some things are out of our control. Other people and their actions are out of our control. We can't control how others act towards us. But don't forget, after all, we define ourselves. We don't define others. By being more understanding and forgiving with the people that we care about, we can build amazing relationships, an environment where love and harmony will last forever. It doesn't matter the ups and downs that you go through, as long as you know that they care about you, that's enough to never give up on them. I can promise you that you will live a life without any regrets. Maybe a few, but I can promise you that if you apply all these tips, you will have a wonderful life, a balanced life, a very fulfilling life. To conclude this, maybe you fucked up. You're stressed and you don't sleep at night because underneath it all, you know that you had the world by the balls at some point in your life. And instead of being prudent and careful and conservative, you were unconscious and you fucked it all up. So ever since then, you've been restricted because you don't have the kind of power over the situation that you used to have, which gave you the freedom to do a lot more than you can do now. And maybe you also have other issues which restrict you even more. You are in a kind of a soft prison, if you will. So you have 2 choices. You can acknowledge that you fucked up, but not be hard on yourself because you were powerless at the time, but to do whatever it is that you did back then. Or 2, you can be in denial about what happened. And in my opinion, option number 2 makes you a loser. Option number 1, you did what you did and you won't do it again. And you have now a brand new set of opportunities to conquer the world at any time, at any age. Choose option number 1. Today you need to give yourself absolution, free yourself of the bond of feeling bad. You're not perfect, but you are always trying. Try to recognize and reward that. If you reached this point in my video, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. I hope you find this information helpful. Please let me know your thoughts. What do you think about these tips to live a regret-free life? And what do you think it should be added? I really would love to hear what you have to say. If you love this video, click that like button. If you love my channel, click that subscribe button. I truly appreciate you sharing my content. Take care of yourself. Thank you, and I love you. Kisses. Mwah.